Hey everyone, welcome back to Ink and Cinema. Today, we're venturing into the heart of Middle-earth with an epic comparison between J.R.R. Tolkien's The Return of the King and its 2003 film adaptation. We'll explore the key differences between the pages of the book and the scenes of Peter Jackson's film, from the fate of Saruman to the mysterious paths of the dead, and everything in between. So, whether you're a Tolkien purist or a Jackson fan, sit back, relax, and let's explore how these two versions of The Return of the King shape our understanding of the final chapter in the greatest adventure ever told. 1. The Death of Saruman. In the book, Saruman's death occurs after the events of the main story, during the Scouring of the Shire. After being defeated at Isengard, Saruman and Wormtongue are taken prisoner. Saruman tries to flee but is eventually killed by Wormtongue. In the film, Saruman's death is depicted in a scene where he is killed by Wormtongue after an encounter at Isengard, well before the destruction of the One Ring. This change eliminates the Scouring of the Shire altogether. 2. Gollums Deception. In both the book and the film, Gollum plays a major role in betraying Frodo and Sam. However, the film portrays Gollum's deception in more detail, showcasing his manipulation of Sam's insecurities and playing up the tension between Frodo and Sam. In the book, Gollum's sabotage is more understated, and while his treachery is clear, the emotional undercurrent is less intense than the way it is dramatized in the film, particularly with the tension between the two hobbits. 3. The Paths of the Dead. The Paths of the Dead are important in the book, as Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli travel through them to summon the army of the dead. This occurs after Aragorn has taken command of the army of Gondor. In the film, the sequence is similar but is shortened and made more visually dramatic. The film version also features a more overt supernatural element, with the spirits of the dead shown as ghostly figures, whereas the book leaves much of this to the reader's imagination. 4. The Siege of Gondor. The film places much more focus on the Siege of Gondor, especially in the battle scenes where Gondorian forces face overwhelming odds. In the book, while the siege is significant, it is more a background to the larger narrative. The film takes liberties with timing and the scale of the battle, enhancing the spectacle of it, especially with the giant catapults and siege towers that appear in the film. 5. The Battle of the Pelennor Fields. The Battle of the Pelennor Fields is depicted with greater scope in the film, particularly the dramatic moments such as the arrival of the Riders of Rohan. However, the film changes the timing and focus of some of these events. In the book, the arrival of Rohan's cavalry is more understated, and characters such as Gandalf and Pippin are involved in different moments of the battle. For example, in the film, Pippin's role is expanded to include him leading the charge with Gandalf to help defend Minas Tirith. 6. The Role of Denethor. In the book, Denethor is a complex and tragic figure who is consumed by despair after the death of his son Boromir. He refuses to acknowledge the hope offered by Aragorn and seeks to burn himself and his son alive. While the film largely retains Denethor's tragic end, it amplifies his madness and paranoia, depicting him as more of a tyrant who dismisses Gandalf's counsel with increasing violence, particularly his attempt to immolate Faramir, which is more dramatic in the film. 7. The Witch King's Death. In the book, the death of the Witch King occurs in a straightforward manner. Éowyn, aided by Merry, strikes the final blow to the Witch King during the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. In the film, this moment is given more spectacle. The Witch King's death is portrayed with added drama, including an extended confrontation between Éowyn and the Witch King, where she famously declares, "I am no man," while delivering the fatal blow, a line that becomes iconic in the film, but is not as explicitly stated in the book. 8. The Fate of the Mouth of Sauron. In the book, The Mouth of Sauron, a servant of Sauron who represents Mordor, rides out to meet the army of Gondor before the final battle. He delivers a taunting message from Sauron and displays Frodo's cloak and sword as proof of his capture. However, in the film, this scene is shortened, and the Mouth of Sauron is killed by Aragorn before any serious interaction occurs, simplifying the role and removing much of the character's menace. 9. Sam's heroic role. In the book, Sam is a consistent and quiet hero. He He supports Frodo through the journey without much recognition, while the film gives Sam a more prominent role in the spotlight, making his moments of heroism more dramatic, such as fighting Shelob and carrying Frodo up Mount Doom. These moments are more understated in the book, where Sam's loyalty and courage are shown through quieter, more steadfast acts. 10. Frodo's journey to Mount Doom. In the book, Frodo's journey to Mount Doom is filled with psychological and physical burdens. Gollum's treachery, the burden of the ring, and his weariness are depicted in more subtle, internal ways. The film amplifies these struggles with visual representations of Frodo's increasing burden and Gollum's influence, highlighting the ring's power over Frodo, especially in a more visual manner, with Frodo's internal conflict shown through more dramatic means. 11. The role of the Eagles. In both the book and the film, the Eagles play a crucial role at the end of the story, swooping in to rescue the protagonists. However, in the film, the Eagles' role is more pronounced and dramatic, especially with Gandalf's leadership in summoning them. In the book, while their arrival is vital, it is treated in a more understated manner, with less emphasis on Gandalf's direct involvement in their coming. 12. The return of the king's coronation. In the book, Aragorn's coronation is depicted in a quieter, more reflective manner. The coronation marks the return of the king, and Aragorn's actions reflect his humility and wisdom. In the film, the coronation scene is extended with added visual spectacle, showing Aragorn receiving the crown and being celebrated by his people, including a dramatic moment with the returning ghosts and a sense of triumph that feels larger than in the book. 13. The Scouring of the Shire. One of the most notable omissions in the film is the Scouring of the Shire. In the book, after the ring is destroyed, Frodo and his companions return to the Shire to find it in a state of industrialization, corrupted by Saruman and his forces. The hobbits rise up against these invaders and restore the Shire to its former state. The film omits this entire sequence, focusing instead on the emotional farewells at the end. 14. The farewell to Gandalf. At the end of the story, Gandalf's departure from Middle-earth in both the book and film is emotional. However, in the book, Gandalf's departure is more understated. He and the other elves leave on ships, sailing into the west, with little fanfare. The film version adds more emotional weight, showing Gandalf bidding farewell to the people of Middle-earth in a final grand gesture which reflects the film's focus on emotional resolution and closure for the characters. 15. The Battle at the Black Gate. In the book, the battle at the Black Gate is a relatively short but important scene in which Aragorn leads a small force of Gondorian soldiers and allied forces to the Black Gate of Mordor in a desperate attempt to draw Sauron's attention away from Frodo and Sam. The book's version is more understated, and the focus is on the symbolic gesture of Aragorn's leadership and the sacrifice of the soldiers, who know they're walking into certain death. The film, however, transforms this battle into a much larger, more visually intense spectacle. Well, that's a wrap for today's video on the differences between J.R.R. Tolkien's The Return of the King and Peter Jackson's cinematic adaptation. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on your favorite literary and cinematic worlds. Thanks for joining me on this journey through Middle-earth, and I'll see you next time with another epic comparison.